I saw this video by the person of Prophet Joshua Ignila, and to me, in that video, it looks as though he was subtly referring to addressing the issue of Pastor Eneche, talking about the famous testimony of Vera. Okay, I find what he said quite interesting. Also in that clip, he addressed some other issues, issues that have to do with social media. I want us to see that video.
When you come around a prophet,
quando você vem onde há profeta,
be very, very careful.
Tenha muito cuidado.
Sometimes we are very sensitive and we can pick what you don't think we can pick.
Podemos encontrar algo que você não acha que poderíamos encontrar.
There were sometimes I sit down here in the past and somebody will be here sharing a testimony on this altar. My resident pastor used to know, and Mama knew, and I'll say that person is lying. I'll tell them. I'm saying this thing for a purpose. I'll tell Mama and the resident pastor. I say that person is lying. Some part of his testimony is true, some part is lie. I want to see that person. I won't talk more than that. And I say this is the last time you should allow that person to share testimony. After service, they bring the person and say you lied. And I say you will not have a privilege to give testimony here anymore. It's not because I can't disgrace you publicly. This is the way God has led me. And hear me, if a pastor decides to do that publicly, it's not even wrong. If that is the way God has led him to do it. Now, I've seen people batter pastors, attack pastors when they take decisions. If you are not a pastor and you have not wear our shoe, don't talk against us anyhow. It's not easy. Especially when you are boiling with the seed of righteousness inside you. When you see something ungodly, there is a way. And the way God leads us is a different way. God can lead you to go direct. God can lead you to go indirect. God can lead you to go here. And sometimes you can take a spontaneous decision. And God,
if you understand what Joshua Ignila did here, so basically this is what he's saying. They've had issues of people coming up to tell lies on pulpit and being prophetic. Of course, he's known as Prophet Iginla, and being prophetic, sometimes he gets to pick where someone is telling lies. So ideally, according to him, what he will do in such circumstances is not to come up directly to approach that person that in the public, all right, unlike what we saw when Pastor Eneche, when he had to publicly address that issue. So according to him, that wouldn't have been the best approach. Meanwhile, it's not like it's against that approach that was any pastor would have taken. Of course, we know that trend. Of course, we know possibly this is more like subtly him addressing the issue of Dr. Eneche. But where I'm going to exactly in all of this is that, when this issue of Dr. Eneche's Vera interview, when it trended online, I didn't actually want to react to it simply because I actually did not see anything wrong in what Dr. Eneche did because of a truth, Maybe listening to that testimony, one have to question such testimony. And do you also understand that if Dr. Eneche had not come out to address that issue, and eventually that thing makes it out in the public, of course, they are alive. It is the same people that were dragging him at that time that will still come out to say that would have come to fault that testimony if Dr. Eneche had not come out to address that issue. Listening further to what Joshua Ignila said, I think the only place I disagree with all of these things he said is where he had to call TB Joshua a prophet. Of course, you know our stand, and this is not like me trying to say Joshua Ignila is false, it is not in my position to actually say that. But when it comes to the likes of Prophet TB Joshua, of course, you know our stand. Our stand is very clear.
He's wanting to make everybody to learn something from it, including you, the pastor, including everybody that is watching. Let's be very careful how we attack pastor.
Vamos ter cuidado
Puxa,
quando nós
pastor.
atacamos os
When we,
pastores.
funny enough, most of you who attack pastors
O
are
mais
Christians.
engraçado, vocês que estão atacando
Shout,
pastores
you
são
write many
cristãos.
things, you insult, you are
Estão
bitter.
insultados, são amados.
If you have the opportunity to be a pastor
Se você
for
tiver
2
a
weeks,
oportunidade de
you
ser
will kill
pastor
some of your
por
members.
2 semanas, você mataria alguns.
Please, pastoral work is not easy.
Trabalho pastoral não é fácil.
Nobody should boast, I'm bigger, I'm that.
Ninguém deve dizer
The way God leads us is different.
A forma com qual o Senhor
God
nos
can
guia é
lead a
diferente.
pastor to do things in another dimension. You might not believe the decision of the pastor, but later the end will justify that the decision of the pastor has a symptom of the leading of God. Be very careful. Don't jump because it is popular and begin to talk anyhow. Pray for weak pastor than destroying us.
Ore por pastor.
Pray for us. If there are people that need more prayer, it is weak pastor. Last week or last 2 weeks, I made mention
Há
that
2 semanas
we
atrás,
should not use people or deal
eu falei que nós não devemos usar pessoas.
misfortunes that befell people to trend on social media.
Certas coisas que
I talked
acabam
about the Nollywood actor.
pegando fama no,
Last week,
na,
a Yoruba prophetess
na
went
semana
to
passada,
glory.
uma profetisa
And I saw, I don't know whether
foi
it's
a
the
glória.
family or who, I don't know.
Não sei se
The
é
woman was
família
dead and they took picture
ou-
and the
a mulher
video of
estava
this
morta
woman.
e levaram
And
fotos,
she was lifeless
fotografias e vídeos.
and they were doing selfie with a dead body.
Ela havia perdido.
I don't know whatever is in their heart for doing that, but that's a
Eu não
condemnable
sei o
act.
que aconteceu
Respect
nas
people.
dessas pessoas, mas
When
esse é
people
um ato
die,
condenável.
what are you using
Respeitem,
video of people?
Como é que você está
to do?
usando o vídeo?
Somebody died,
Alguém
a woman
morreu.
of God,
Uma mulher de Deus.
in a vulnerable stage.
Uma
You are
forma
doing selfie
vulnerável. Você está fazendo
with a life, a lifeless dead body,
corpo sem vida.
not even a tears. All because you want to have like views.
Apenas
I don't know what is in your heart, oh,
ter
but please, when people are in the stage of vulnerability,
Quando as pessoas estão
somebody is sick, he cannot move his legs. You go to the hospital, you not do video of
Você vai
him.
para o hospital, você
Ah!
vai para a pessoa.
Let's be careful. Ẹ jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run o.
Cuidado.
Ẹ jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run o. That is why if you are a great man,
É por isso se
people
você
that are around you, there should be people that respect you in your absence.
Na sua
Not people that
ausência.
will seek opportunity.
Não as pessoas que irão procurar
To
ter
make jest of
oportunidade
you
de fazer
when you are
algo
down.
de ti quando você está embaixo.
When I collapsed several years ago,
Quando eu caí, há
my
anos
former
atrás,
PA is not here,
o meu
but I give him credit.
assistente
He was the person around me.
não está
He
aqui agora.
protected me all around.
Protegia-me.
Nobody,
Em todos os cantos.
everybody were fighting. He gagged everybody and made sure nobody saw my vulnerability.
Que tentava se aproximar
That's it,
para
is all.
ele fazia de tudo para que
People
ninguém
can be
visse
bad, oh,
a minha
but when they are good, say about their goodness, oh. You cannot say you love me,
Você não pode
and when I'm down,
enquanto quando estou
you are
embaixo,
looking for a time to catch
você
cruise.
está procurando tempo
When you do
mesmo
this
para
to
dizer,
people in their vulnerability, you are a wicked soul. I'm rounding up by telling you this. Great men, great
grande
women,
homem, grande mulher,
please,
por favor,
your driver,
teu motorista,
PA,
teu assistente,
personal assistants,
o teu,
family member,
o teu membro,
people
teu
that
familiar,
surround you.
as pessoas que estão ao
I'm
teu
not
redor.
praying that the going should be bad, oh.
Eu estou orando para
But
que
hear
eles
me.
andem o caminho mal, mas
Not
escuta.
people that are waiting for you to fall.
Não as pessoas estão à
You're in
espera de
ICU,
você.
all they are doing is to video you.
O que eles fazem é apenas retirar
Please.
vídeos.
If you're around a great man,
Se você está
whether
ao redor de um
politician,
grande homem,
whether a leader,
seja
whether a
político,
pastor,
líder, pastor,
the fact that they are great, they have the days when they will have the dark moment of their
eles
life.
têm dias que
Please,
têm
if you do honor them,
obscuros na
kò
sua
wọ́n láṣọ àṣírí. Kò wọ́n láṣọ àṣírí. That's why I respect the wise men
É por isso eu
and all the
respeito os homens
disciples
sábios
and the wife of Prophet TB Joshua.
e a mulher de
In his
Steve Joshua.
stage of transition,
Está
they
numa fase
protected him.
protegida.
And also on the other hand, when I saw that incident, I was asking myself a question. Come on. Dr. Paul Eneche had people that were supposed to scrutinize testimonies. I mean, there are people that will listen to your testimony to make sure what you are saying is in line, is true, and all of that. They examine your testimony before you eventually have to come up there to speak. So I began to ask myself question, is it that they missed that woman? What exactly happened? Why would they have actually listened to such a woman to speak that way and still allow her to come to give testimony? When that whole issue happened, some persons were like, maybe it was stage fright, but of course, we have seen from the recent happening of how the woman, goes about making demand for money and wanting to become a celebrity, which she is not. We saw definitely that she actually had foundational issue with her English. Now, I'm not trying to mock her in that respect. It happens once in a while. But then, I think the focus when it comes to this whole testimony of a faith, we should be more careful. This is just like me addressing what I feel I found, prevailing in the church. We should be more careful we should be more comfortable in allowing people to come and give testimony in the name of testifying to the living God, rather than because somebody comes up to say, the God of this commission did this, or since I started listening to you, or since I started attending this commission, God has been faithful. Now, I have nothing wrong in that, but let's normalize the scenario whereby somebody can actually come to a church and just thank God for God. Not because God did that thing through the minister of God in that commission. No. All right. So I have seen churches fall victim for testimonies, fake testimonies, simply because the person comes up to say, the God of this commission is doing this, the God of this commission, and they wanting to advertise that God is indeed in their church. Would have allowed, so many circumstances would have allowed people that comes up there to, exaggerate testimonies.